Hey, real quick, have you ever heard of Michael Jackson? I'm serious, like, have you ever heard of Michael Jackson? And you might think I'm joking, but I want to show you something today that you could be using right now. You've probably heard this song all your life and didn't even realize what you were hearing. And I guarantee you, you can take this thing that I'm going to show you today and you can use it in your bass lines right now. So stay tuned. I know a few of you guys were like, Michael Jackson, what does that have to do with church? Is this dude trying to get us to play Billie Jean in church? No, not exactly. I'm not trying to get you to play Billie Jean in church. If you guys have heard Billie Jean and the Off the Wall album, maybe some of you guys are familiar with that. Maybe some of you guys are like me. You grew up in the church and you didn't really get to listen to that kind of stuff. But what I can tell you as a professional musician, if you're going to be a music professional, especially in the city of Atlanta, at some point, you're going to play some Michael Jackson. If you're playing with a corporate band or whatever the case may be, Michael Jackson is going to come up. So all that being said, I had to learn this song years ago, and it wasn't necessarily Billie Jean, but the song was Rock With You. Many of you have heard this song. It sounds a little bit like this. Now, I wanted to use the actual track, but of course, YouTube and the copyright strikes and all that kind of stuff, I didn't want to deal with that. So I decided I'll just play my version of it to give you the context of what I was talking about. And if you hadn't heard that song, just simply go to YouTube and type in Rock With You by Michael Jackson, and you can listen to what the actual song sounds like. That way you get to hear the song. I don't get a copyright strike. Everybody's happy. You know what I'm talking about. In this song, I wanted to show you guys there's a part that happens in the second verse of this song. As a bass player, especially as a professional bass player, we all know that you gotta play this bass line just like it is on the record in order for it to be authentic when you play this song. So it happens right here. So this song is in the key of C sharp, and as you can hear, I'm going from the 6 to the 2 to the 5. And this is just a great way that this bass player used. I'm not 100% sure who is the bass player for this song. If somebody knows, please be sure to drop it in the comment. I got my ideas of who I think, but I'm more interested in hearing who you guys think it is. Or maybe some of you guys are Michael Jackson heads and you already know who it is. So be sure to drop that in the comments. But what he was doing, he was going from the 6 to the 2 to the 5, and the way that he used it to navigate around, I thought that was really, really interesting, really, really creative. And I've heard several other bass players use this same line. So again, what he played was and with that, what he simply did was almost like use a minor scale to descend. He just stepped one outside of that minor scale. In theory, you know, we could call it something else, but for the sake of this lesson, he just simply used a minor scale to walk down. So I'm going to play this in the context of a track that I've created. And by the way, if you're interested in learning more about this backing track and 5 other backing tracks that are soulful, that sound like it, I've created something called the All Soul Bass Jam Pack, where I'm showing you guys how to play this, and I'll show you the instructional and all that kind of stuff. So I'll put that link in the description below where you guys can check that out if you want to know more. But here's me playing this track in a different context with a similar feel. right, so as you can hear, I use that same approach to kind of navigate around from that 6 to the 2. So the 6-2-5 is a really common progression. Most of us are used to hearing like 2-5-1, but 6-2-5 is really common, and you'll definitely hear it in the church world. You might hear it in pop and R&B, as you hear in this song Rock With You by Michael Jackson, which is obviously a pop song, or some might consider it R&B. But you hear these types of movements all the time, and learning how to navigate or transition from one chord to the next chord, or from one number to the next number, is very key in becoming a really solid bass player. It's one thing to just go from the 6 to the 2, or from the 2 to the 5, but it's a whole nother thing when you can move like this. And the more you can learn how to navigate around chord progressions like this, is going to make you an overall better bass player. So really quick, I want to let you guys know, if you're somebody who's trying to learn gospel bass and you're trying to improve your playing, your overall aggressiveness, being more aggressive, learning the different styles of music, maybe learning the hymns, maybe learning the congregational songs. You might even be struggling with how to play shout music and all of that kind of stuff. If you're somebody who struggles with these types of things, I want to help you, and I want to help you to grow your skills as a bass player. Not only that, if you're struggling with coming up with licks and riffs and those types of things, I want to help you figure it out. So I encourage you to check out the link in the description below, or visit jermainemorgan.net, and there I have a ton of lessons that you can check out. I have a ton of courses specifically geared towards bass players who are trying to improve in gospel, and a ton of other areas. But if that's where you need help, let me help you by visiting jermainemorgan.net. Let's be honest, most of our bass lines are boring, especially if it's a song that we've been playing over and over again. A lot of times that creativity goes out of the window, especially for beginners and intermediate players. You kind of struggle with coming up with your own ideas. Well, this will give you context in order to start creating some of your own lines. Now, I took this Michael Jackson line. Now, here's another variation of that line that I can do. As you hear, you can start taking this and flipping it. That's the biggest thing. You know, I teach a lot of licks and riffs and that type of thing on this channel, but the idea is to stimulate you, to stimulate your brain, to get you to start thinking about what would sound great over this, what would feel good over this, what could I do? And it's not so much for you to copy and paste the licks that I'm doing, but it's to give you ideas to build from, because I believe if we have a great foundation, we can build anything. And sometimes we struggle with putting a good foundation together, because just be honest, most of us don't naturally hear this stuff. Some of us hear it naturally. And so you have to take the stuff that's not necessarily natural to you. I can remember when I started trying to work on building my right hand groove, it wasn't natural for me to hear it that way, because I started on guitar and I didn't necessarily hear how bass players should play percussive and those types of things. But the more I listened from other people's foundation, I think it was Damien Erskine. I watched a video of his a long time ago, and I heard the way that he was playing with his right hand being very percussive, and it gave me ideas as to how I could go about building my right hand percussive style. Now, I don't sound anything like Damien Erskine, but his ideas and his foundation gave me something to work with, and that's what I want to give you today. All right, so now you have the gist of what I'm talking about with using this line, and so you can answer the question, can I use this in church? Absolutely, you can use this line in church. By no means am I telling you to play Rock With You or any other Michael Jackson song in your church. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, with songs like these and other songs, there are elements that you can pull away and create your own stuff by using the foundation that these guys have laid out, because these are professional players, regardless of what the lyrics of the songs are talking about. And I am telling you this for my church cats, or anybody for that matter, be careful of the lyrics that you take in, the music that you're listening to, because it does have an effect on you, believe it or not. So you have to be really, really careful. Now, I will encourage you this. If you don't want to go and look up the entire Michael Jackson song. I don't think the lyrics are too vulgar, but if you just want to hear the music only, I found an instrumental as well of the song, and I'll put it in the description below so you can go and check it out if you simply want to listen to it for the musical aspect of it. And so that's the thing I'm talking to you guys about. Listen to the musical aspect, how you can take these elements and implement them into what you're doing. And context is everything, because if I hear how someone is using something, it gives me the context of how I can now start to use that exact same thing. Now, I hope these tips have been really helpful for you, and I hope this is something that you can put and implement into your bass plan. Remember, this don't have to only be for an upbeat song or something that feels like this. This can be for something anywhere where you have that 6, 2 to 5. Now, it's going to be up to you to be creative and find out how you can implement it, but you have the notes. You see how I played it. You see exactly what the line is. Now, all you have to do is pull it apart and start using it on your own. It's going to take practice. It's going to take work, but you can do it. I'm confident that you can pull it off if you put the time, energy, and effort into it. Listen, if you've enjoyed this video, let YouTube know and let me know by hitting that like, turn my bell notifications, and press subscribe if you hadn't already done that. Share this video with somebody, maybe some of your bass player buddies or somebody you know who's trying to figure stuff out just like this, and let them know, look, I am bringing this type of stuff for you. And if you are a church musician or somebody that's playing in that church world and you want to know how to better do something, drop it in the comments. I'm trying to figure out what I can do to serve you guys the best, but I don't know if you don't tell me. So drop some ideas in the comments of some things that you're struggling with, some pain points for you that you're working on, and I want to create content that helps you guys to grow and to ultimately help you unlock your sound. Listen, guys, again, I'm Jermaine Morgan, and I thank you today for watching this video. I will catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.